Hey everyone, Attorney Matthew Legan Sanchez here. Are you thinking, should I file a motion to modify custody, child support, or time sharing? Let's see. So the first thing you're going to need to consider is there a big change in circumstance? Regarding visitation, it's a material change in circumstance is a legal terminology. It's going to be something major. It's going to be CYFD involvement with substantiation of abuse. Maybe your ex got arrested and convicted for DWI, domestic violence. Your child's having major issues in the home, something major. So think major. Your judge doesn't want you to fire off a motion to modify every time your child changes his shoe size. It needs to be something major in your child's life. So in order not to tick off your judge, make sure you're not filing unnecessary motions. You don't want to be in court over and over and over again. The longer your docket, your case gets, the less patience your judge is going to have with your case. So don't cry wolf. Don't file a motion to modify unless there's actually some meat on the bone. Make sure there's a big change in circumstance. Now with child support, a big change in circumstance is 20%. So if your child support is $1,000 a month, it would have to go up or down by $200. And you have to file a motion to modify 1 year after the current child support order was entered. So there has to be a 20% change, and there has to be 1 year since the last order was entered. If you can meet both of those, file a motion to modify, and you can get your child support changed. Do you have all the information? Don't file a motion to modify visitation, child support, unless you have all of the information. Look, don't go into court on a motion to modify custody throwing mud unless you have clean hands. You don't want to throw stones if you live in a glass house. I've seen it in court. I've seen someone file a motion, go into court and say, I want my ex drug tested now. I want them to take a urine analysis test. Test comes back, one person tests positive for weed, the person that asked for it tests positive for meth. The judge gives the other person sole legal custody. You don't want to be sitting in that chair. You don't want the judge staring down at you saying, well, it looks like your ex tested positive for weed and you tested positive for meth. So with child support, you're going to need all the information. You're going to need to have all of the financial information. Don't file a motion to modify child support unless you actually know what your ex's income is, and be honest about your income as well. There's guidelines online. Look up New Mexico child support guidelines. There's a calculator. You can go on, you plug in your gross monthly income, you plug in your ex's gross monthly income. It's going to spit out an amount. It's all based on law, very clear cut. Now where the gray area comes in, if you're guessing on your ex's income, there's no way for you to know what the actual amount's going to be. It's a very rookie mistake. Even attorneys make this, but it's a very green error. They'll fire off a motion to modify child support because someone says, I want to change child support. They file the motion to modify child support, go into court, and then the child support actually goes up instead of down. Horrible feeling. You don't want to be on the side of that. It's kind of like giving yourself a speeding ticket. It's going to be a horrible feeling. So get all of the information, know what your ex's information is, know what your information is. It's gross monthly income, it's your time sharing. There's also some extraordinary expenses. You can include daycare that's work related. Go online, run the figures, and know what you're going to get. And don't just go into court guessing, because it could be a really bad experience. What was the time since the last order was entered? Was it a couple of months? If so, your judge isn't going to want you to be banging on the courthouse again. Judges don't want their dockets being run over and over and over again by the same parties. They're not going to look down the case and say, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Smith are here again. Great. It's been 2 days since I saw them last. Can't wait to see them again and see what they're up to. That's not what your judge is thinking. Your judge is looking at that and saying, oh, here we go again. Judges don't want the same cases over and over and over again clogging up their docket. So make sure like the longer the time passes, the better it's going to be. The bigger the change, the better chance you're going to have. Let something big happen and then your case is going to have a bigger bang. You're going to need to consider the cost versus the benefit of filing a motion to modify. Look, filing a motion to modify timesharing can get really expensive. There can be experts, there could be a guardian ad litem, especially if your case has been contentious and very litigious. The judge is gonna possibly wanna get a guardian ad litem, and that process is about $5,000 to $10,000 for a guardian ad litem, 110706 custody evaluator, very expensive processes. So you're gonna need to consider what is the cost of filing a motion to modify and what's the likely benefit. Are you willing to spend $10,000 to get maybe a couple hours more? I don't know. That's something you're gonna need to consider. You're gonna need to consider it with an experienced attorney. Think about the filing costs, the emotional costs, the stress, the time. All of that's going to need to be considered when you think about filing a motion to modify. Part of considering the cost is also, there's no guarantees in love, in war, and in court. Just because you're the person filing a motion to modify doesn't mean that the judge is going to rule in your favor. I see it too often. Someone runs to the courthouse, they file a bogus restraining order, they file a motion to modify, they get CYFD involved, and then it comes back and it hurts their case. The other person files a counter petition for restraining order and gets the order protection entered. The other person files a response motion and actually gets more time. CYFD has a problem in the one person's home and substantiates against them. There's no guarantees. Don't file a motion to modify. Don't file a restraining order. Don't contact CYFD if you have issues in your home. Don't throw mud unless you have clean hands. Are you wondering, should I file a motion to modify child support, timesharing? If so, call me. Call attorney Matthew Ligon Sanchez at 505 Sanchez. I'll talk to you, I'll hear about your exact case facts, and we'll get to the bottom of your case. Call attorney Matthew Ligon Sanchez at 505 Sanchez.